The air in the Chase Center corridors just shifted, and not in the way Dub Nation has grown comfortable with over the past golden decade of Warriors dominance. No, this is seismic, a tremor beneath our feet that threatens to shake the very foundation of the dynasty we all thought was unbreakable. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Now, imagine a figure who has been entrenched in the inner sanctum of the Warriors' empire for the better part of 10 years, someone who has seen firsthand the electric highs of 3 NBA championships. From the strategic boardroom debates to the thunderous roar of Game 6 clay, Thompson's shots embedded at the heart of this basketball machine, yet tethered by invisible chains of legacy and expectation. That figure is Kent Lacob, son of Joe Lacob, the team's executive architect and one of the most influential owners in the league. Yet as we edge closer to the 2025 NBA draft, with the roster churn looming over salary cap pressures and playoff seed ambitions, especially with young stars like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody stepping into more prominent roles amidst the looming shadows of Stephen Curry's twilight years, Ken has dropped a bomb that no Dub Nation heart could ignore. He's stepping away from the Warriors. That's right. After a decade of grinding in the league's trenches, shaping championship trajectories alongside stalwarts like Draymond Green and witnessing the wrenching highs of the 2022 title run, Ken is choosing to forge his own path away from the powerful Lacob dynasty. Why? Because as Marcus Thompson too laid bare in The Athletic, despite the honor of being a cornerstone behind Golden State's most glorious era, Kent was wrestling with the gnawing truth that his identity couldn't be shackled forever to his father's towering silhouette. Approaching 32, armed with a wedding on the horizon and a restless hunger for personal legacy, Kent realized lest he never tries, he would forever be confined to the echo chamber of Joe Lacob's world, a dazzling but suffocating milieu that, while spectacular on the outside, veiled a void of true contentment. But here's the part no one saw coming. This announcement wasn't made in some impersonal boardroom or through a cryptic press release. Kent revealed his decision to Joe in his father's very own home office, mere weeks before the 2025 draft frenzy, where Warriors strategists balance roster depth and star durability with surgical precision to keep this team contending amid staggering salary cap realities and the growing menace of Eastern powers like Miami's Jimmy Butler-led Heat. Think about that intimate, heavy moment of reckoning happening not out in the spotlight, but behind closed doors, signaling a quiet but explosive shift in the family and the franchise itself. This is a brutal, raw pivot for an organization renowned for stability. How often do we get to see such personal courage invade the polished veneer of front office chess? You have to respect Joe Lacob's reaction. Well, that took some balls, he said, recognizing that risk-taking, the willingness to walk into the unknown, is how legacies are born, even if it means stepping away from a team synonymous with his very name. For Warriors fans who have lived through the pulse-pounding ascents, the thunderous crowds witnessing both the miracle of we believe in the heartbreak of a 73-9 season that almost crowned the dynasty, and later the rebirth anchored by Clay's frozen shot and Steph's unstoppable Harlem Shake, this leaves us with 1,000 questions. What does Kent's departure mean for the front office's continuity, especially as they juggle nurturing star talent against the scary realities of roster crunches? Can the Warriors weather this internal tremor without losing the strategic edge that won us so many rings? And more poignantly, what does this personal odyssey mean for the Lacob family dynamic, which have been, in many ways, the secret sauce of Golden State's success? And as we watch former Warriors assets now pivot into rival camps, like that front court piece shifting to the Boston Celtics, the plot thickens because every whisper, every move on the chessboard might cascade into the seismic shifts that define what this team becomes next. Is Kent Lacob's departure the crack splitting open the dynasty's armor, or is this the ignition spark that catapults Golden State into a new feared era of innovation and resilience? As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this, caught between hope and anxiety, nostalgia, and the raw hunger for what comes next. I can feel the echoes of past seasons in my bones, the way a single bold move has the power to either spark a title run or fracture everything we thought was solid. Nobody knows exactly where Kent's risk-taking leap will land or how the Lacob family will recalibrate. But one thing is for sure, this moment stands as a bold, unvarnished testament to courage raw, unscripted, and profoundly human pulsing, at the core of this organization's identity. And you can't help but feel that what we're witnessing isn't just about basketball, it's about legacy, about the kind of decisions that leave fingerprints on the soul of a franchise for decades. So, will this personal revolution ripple through the Warriors front office, affecting decisions that could reshape the roster around Curry, Thompson, and Green's twilight? Will it push them toward riskier trades, bolder free agent gambles, and a reimagined playing style that challenges the very identity of the Splash era? Or is this the quiet prelude to a seismic shift in how the franchise reinvents itself amid the ruthless NBA landscape? A landscape where timing is everything, where windows slam shut without warning, and where even legends must confront their own expiration dates. Because in this league, hesitation is fatal, and evolution waits for no one. I can't help but think of the We Believe run, the 73-9 heartbreak, the Game 6 Clay explosions, the 2022 title push moments where everything seemed both impossible and inevitable, where doubt lives side by side with destiny. Maybe this is another one of those moments, the kind we'll look back on years from now as the turning point we didn't see clearly until it had already changed everything. Or maybe it's the gamble that leaves us wondering what could have been, the fork in the road where we chose a path that led somewhere entirely different than we imagined. That's the intoxicating, terrifying beauty of this sport. You never know if the next page will be written in triumph or heartbreak. And that's why every choice, every whisper from the front office, every calculated risk feels like it carries the weight of the dynasty itself. Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, ready to ride out whatever storm or celebration comes next. The echo of that last buzzer still hasn't faded, and the air in the Chase Center feels as if it could crack tension boiling over as rumors swirl faster than a Kyrie crossover, and the very soul of Dub Nation teeters on the brink of an unstoppable tempest. If you're as locked in as I am for Warriors News Fan Report, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a second of the drama from the Bay to the Chase Center. Picking up right where we left off, the seismic shifts within Golden State's inner circle are beginning to ripple outward like the tidal waves the Warriors once rode to their dynasty height. Only this wave threatens to uproot everything. The chatter across NBA front offices is deafening. Sources whisper about major trade talks, blockbuster potential, and a salary cap labyrinth that could redefine not just this team's short-term outlook, but the entire landscape of the Western Conference for years to come. Picture this: the Warriors, who built their fortress on the pillars of Splash Brothers' precision, lockdown defense, and relentless heart, now standing at a crossroads where each decision carries the weight of past pain and future promise. The pressure cooker of contract negotiations and roster tweaks is intensifying. Will they chase the win-now approach labored with the grueling wisdom of veterans like Draymond Green and Steph Curry, or pivot strategically toward a youth movement reminiscent of the foundational years leading up to the 2015 championship? The locker room dynamics, so carefully curated through championship glory and painful setbacks, including that heartbreak of the 2016. Games that still haunts fan memory are now under microscopic scrutiny. How will the intangible chemistry shift when whispers of a trade, target potentially a high-impact star known for clutch playoff performances, hit the table? Remember the 2019 trade whispers that once rocked the Bay? Those seismic vibes could be just a prelude to what sounds like an impending blockbuster maneuver. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Rumors suggest the front office is eyeing a salary cap. Gymnastics move that could force a vital decision around some beloved role players. A test of loyalty and trust that might fracture the very heartbeat of this team or bring a magnetic new force to New Oracle's hardwood stage. Will Thibs or Kerr dial up a new offensive scheme? One that harnesses the explosive versatility we glimpsed during the 2022 championship run, but perhaps demands an entirely new blueprint for spacing and defensive assignments? What about the Rufino? Trade talks whispered backstage. Could we be about to see the next evolution of the Warriors' famed motion offense, blending mid-range snipers with next-gen playmakers? And while speculation flows freely, what's undeniable is the mounting pressure on the front office, the financial chess game of balancing luxury tax limitations, contract extensions for key contributors, and draft pick asset management that harkens back to the Golden State personnel gambles during their We Believe era, where scrappy grit made up for star scarcity. There's talk that this move could signal a deeper shift away from a reliance on three-point bombardment toward a more diverse, unpredictable offensive gambit, maybe embracing more slashing, more pick-and-roll set pieces that keeps defenses perpetually guessing. And all this is looming while Steph continues to redefine the boundaries of greatness, pushing through an ankle injury that has the medical team whispering in anxious tones and fans holding their collective breath. Is the reigning Stephen Curry, a living legend who turned the city gold with 73-9 Magic and an NBA Finals MVP's fierce will, about to be forced into a pivotal role adjustment or worse, sidelined into something less than the MVP caliber presence we so desperately need? We all remember Klay's serene yet electric Game 6 feast 2 summers ago, but now? The Splash Brothers' rhythm is caught in the shifting tides of a rehabilitative battle, leaving the team to contemplate putting more weight on the shoulders of emerging stars, whose potential is bright, but whose playoff mettle remains an open question. Will young guns rise to that challenge, or will the pressure magnify every missed shot, every defensive misstep? Beyond the court, the synergy in the locker room is fracturing under the glare of media scrutiny and fan expectations. Veterans who once embodied swagger and cohesion seem distracted, perhaps sensing the coming upheaval, a transformation that could fracture tight bonds or spark a renewed hunger. The coaching staff, led by Kerr with his trademark calm but burning strategic fire, is now juggling not just X's and O's, but the fragile emotional state of players confronting uncertainty. Where does this new chapter lead? Does it hark back to the resilient heart of the early Warriors' scrappy, underestimated, beloved underdogs, or does it signal a pivot toward embracing fresh blood and unproven talent, a gamble as risky as the shot Steph drained from way beyond the arc to secure a championship? And in the midst of this storm, we cannot forget the ever-present shadow of the franchise's rich, complicated history, the iron-willed mentorship from the Barrett era, the gold ribbon of resilience woven through every finals appearance, every playoff run, every historic shot replayed in the minds of those who live and breathe this team. As the front office consoles between calls, drafting scenarios, and medical reports, one thing is crystal clear: every choice carries with it the weight of championships past and the hunger for glory to come. The salary cap discussions alone are a masterclass in tension, the tightrope walk between keeping core stars happy and bringing new talent in without sinking into luxury tax quicksand. The front office's ability to thread this needle will define Golden State's trajectory for the next decade, possibly determining whether this is a fleeting twilight or dawn of a new dynasty. And as if the on-court chess match and off-court negotiations weren't enough, the fan base itself is itching with anticipation and anxiety. Will this be the moment we rally behind a new lineup, embrace a strategic makeover, or will it mark the beginning of a seismic fracture, the kind that sends the foundation crumbling? History reminds us the Warriors have always embodied rebirth. From their iconic We Believe underdog run to the record-setting 73-win season punctuated by the gut-wrenching Game 7 loss in 2016 to the 2022 triumph that seemed to fuse past heartbreak and future promise into a triumphant exhale. This franchise knows how to battle back. Could we be witnessing the prologue to another chapter that adds to that storied legacy? Or is this the breaking point, where pressure finally fractures the delicate equilibrium between talent, ambition, and heart? The questions burn hotter than the Chase Center's lights on game night, threading through every conversation, every fan tweet, every inside source whisper. And as we stand on the edge of whatever comes next for Dub Nation, I can't shake the question: are we witnessing the ignition of our next dynasty push, or the fracture that sends it all crashing down? Sound off in the comments. Dub Nation, I'll be right there in the thick of it with you, riding every high and every heartbreak, right here on Warriors News Fan Report.